How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel, should I say. In today's video, as you can see by the title, we're stripping a K20 engine. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're just going to start taking the cam cover off and work our way down, basically. All the external ancillaries are off, like water pump housing and alternator. It didn't even come with an alternator. But yeah, so things like that are already off, so it's just going to be a bare engine really. And I'm going to show you how to strip it from the outside straight all the way down to pistons and everything out, and examine the bearings and everything else what's there. So yeah. So now I have the cam cover off. I've also took these bolts out of the cam caps as well, bearing caps. They're just a bunch of 12 mils. Don't forget the 10 mil right in the middle of the bearing cap there. That stops you getting it out completely. So you need to take that out, or you will end up snapping it, and then you'll have a bit of trouble. So now all you need to do is you just take these off. They come off nice and easy. They have got locating dowels on them, just there. But they should just pop out nice and easy. Get the bolts in them and wiggle them loose and then pop them out. Make sure you bag them up. I've bagged my bolts up here. There's my cam cover bolts just there, and there's my camshaft cap bolts there. So they're all there, so I know where they are. I don't lose them, and they're all nice and neat there. Now you've got your cam caps off, you can just gently prise the camshafts out. Be careful they don't snap. They shouldn't snap. They should just come out nice and easy. If you have them here and give them a little wiggle, it should just pop straight out. You can see this is coming out nicely now. And there we go, they're out. Check for any scoring marks or marks you don't really want, burn marks. It's not really focusing here, so you can't really see well on this. But yeah, make sure you put them all somewhere nice and safe where they're not going to get damaged. Wrap them up in cling film or something, along with the valve train here as well. On the VTEC engines they have 3 there, and they have springs and pins that pop out if you don't zip tie them close. So that's just how to stop them falling out, really, ready for storage. Unless you want to take them out just to replace them, then that's entirely up to you. Right, so now your cams are out. You want to take these 2 screws out on the end here. You'll see they're holding it down. You want to try and gently pry these out and give them a quick wiggle out, and they should just slot straight out. And there's your valve train right there. That's all there is to it. Once you've got yourself your valve train out, it's time to take the head off. To use this, you need a 14 mil. It's not even a hex, it's more of a star. I can't really get it to focus here. But yeah, more of a star anyway. It's quite long, perfect for these. You should have 10 of these bolts. You go on there, make sure it's a nice and snug fit there. Yeah, crack these off loose with a breaker bar. And then I suppose you can use an impact gun if you want to, but breaker bar will be better. You get a better feel for them. And you crack them off evenly, start from the middle and work your way out. That's so you don't crack or warp the head or anything like that, and it ensures everything's off neatly. Make sure you take your timing cover off first, and then you can take your head off. So to take the timing cover off, from what I just counted, there's 17 bolts just to get it off. That's excluding these. You shouldn't have to take these off for the tensioner. As you've seen, I already had my chain off anyway, which means I've already had the cover off. That was just so I could see the engine really. But I put it back together just to show you how to get it off, and I think there's 17 bolts from what I counted, so let's go ahead and get them off, and then we can go on with getting the head off. Right, so like I said, there's 17 bolts for this. All I'm going to do is crack these off. I'm using the electric ratchet, but that's just to make it a bit quicker. You can still crack them off with these, they're not massively tight anyway. They just got a bit of sealant on it really, that's it. So yeah, let's crack these off and get them all off. Right, so now I've cracked these off, all I'm going to do is just use a ratchet and wind them all right out and bag them up. I don't need to show you them bagged up because obviously it's just a bag. So yeah, I'm just going to get these off now and it should expose all the timer gear. Now your timing cover's off, you want to be getting these chain tensioners off. As you can see here, mine's unclipped for some reason. Probably ready for a new one if I'm honest, but good job we're rebuilding it. So to get this one off, obviously it's loose on the bottom here. Just on the top here you got a just an Allen key there. You just need to loosen that with. You've got 3 10mm on this one, and it pops straight out. Then you just loosen those, take them out, and that's it. It's off. You're ready to take the head off then. Okay, so I've cracked all the head bolts off. These are insanely tight, so if you're doing it, just be aware they are tight. Don't give up though. I've had to strap my engine down to the trolley because the engine itself was twisting, and I just wedged my foot under the trolley to start turning. And even so, you see on the other video, on the other clip, that I was still struggling to hold it and crack them loose, but I got it. So that's them loose. All I'm going to do now is buzz them off with a gun, and then the head should just pop off. Right, bolts are out. As you can see, they're all there. I bagged them all up, labelled it all up, so head's ready to come off. I assume we could probably use this as a prize point if we needed to. I guess there is a couple of obvious points around the back there as well we can be using. Just be careful when you're taking it off. Try and use something that's not going to damage any mating surfaces or the head itself. So just be really gentle prizing it really. I'll show you me taking it off so you see what I can use. If you have to, you can just copy what I'm doing. But I'm no professional by any means, obviously. But yeah, I will be disassembling this head at some point as well, purely for a rebuild. Probably get some uprated springs, some better valves. Probably have them all lapped, and maybe have the head ported. I don't know if I need to have it ported. It's a pretty decent flowing head as it is anyway on these K20s, from what I've heard anyway. But yeah. Probably have it all pressure tested obviously before it goes back together and it's all built. Yeah. Okay, so before I prize anything, I am just going to try and see if I can wiggle it loose, try and get it off that way it says any damaging anything. Clear these and I can lay it on there first thing. Yeah, right, let's see if we can give this a go. Oh, it's quite loose already. Don't want to be dropping it on the... And she's off. We have a bit of corrosion on the inside there, which isn't good. But... Okay, so as you saw, I got the head off. There's some corrosion in there, but it'll hone out. It's all fine. I've left it soaking with oil in the cylinders for I think 2 nights now. I've been editing. Haven't really worked on it the past couple of days. So yeah, I'm going to take the sump off now. You'll see that in a minute, and then we'll flip the engine up and get the pistons and the crank out and examine them, see what they're like, and yeah. So, sumps off. I've also flipped the engine around as well, as you can see. That's a messy job. There was some oil on the floor there, quite a bit of it. Anyway, that's cleaned up. So, here's your pump. To get this off, I think, is just 4 bolts. One on each corner here. I think that's just the baffle, or the guard, sorry, on the crank. And we can't take this timing chain here off until we get this pump off. We sort of have to wiggle it off. You'll see in a second. So, looks like maybe some 15 mils to get this off. 4 of them. So let's see what these like to get off. See if we can just see what else is needed. Well, it feels like it's coming off. It also feels like this chain's holding it back. So, wonder if I can do that, or if it's just going to spin the pump. Attention. Get this chain guide off and attempt it after that. I was on the wrong ball because I didn't prime that. Yeah. Alright, it's off. Okay, the way that works quite weird. It's on a little pivot pin there. Put that up there. Right, now we should have no. Yeah, that's loads of slack now. There we go. We're off, boys. We got it off. And there goes the oil pump. Beefy as always. Tip it up for you to see. There's a bit of crap in the pickup. Don't know if you guys can see that or not. Don't know if this engine's had rod knock at all or not. A bit of movement in the bearing, not a lot. Don't know if it's enough to cause it to knock, but guess we're about to find out. Check the bearings in a minute. Yeah. Let's get this plate here off, and then we'll take the whole like girdle off, and then we'll be ready to take the well, actually I think we'll take the pistons out first, and then we'll take this big girdle off. That's only holding the crank, and I can get the pistons out without that. So let's give it a go. Don't know if this does any damage to these, but I mean they're being changed anyway. I don't like to break anything on the crank if it's still any good. That's that. Oh, that went well. Just in case it does fall, I have my hand under it. That's that one. Well, it don't actually look bad. Obviously these are being replaced anyway, but hopefully that means healthy motor. Maybe it was just a bit. It did have water ingress, as you've seen in the cylinders anyway, so yeah, even the crank looks good compared to the ST engine I took apart. I mean, there's a bit of wear, but that's obvious. That's normal wear if you ask me. That's cylinder number 4. So that's looking good at the minute. Alright, so because they're so deteriorated in the bores in the top of the engine there, I'm just going to take the crank out first. So it's this whole like girdle thing here. You can see the join there. Try and focus that a bit better for you. There you go. See all the whatever they've used there, the sealant. So it's 14mm impact bit on these. We have 10 on the crank, and I do believe these bolts all the back there are also holding these in as well. By the looks of it, they are. If not, then I'll have to show you what else it is. But I also think I'll have to take that engine mount there off as well in the top corner. So I guess we're about to find out. When I remember myself, life can be hard, but it's what we do. Right, so that's the bolts holding the crank down, all loosened. Now I'm going to take these 5 by the looks of it, for these 5 bolts down the side here off, and hopefully it should come up. These bolts here are 12 mils, just these 5, so let's see what these are like. They're not tight at all. Could probably just gun those off if I wanted to. Yeah. Lovely. The reason you start from the middle way out is to ensure it's all coming off evenly and nothing's warping or cracking, or even worse, you could break your crank, especially if there's too much pressure on one bolt. So I've got this mount off. Don't feel the most confident in this, but it's the only way I can get these off. I guess I could always put this cage back on anyway when it's all bare block, so I feel a bit more confident with that, but I should try. Alright. I find it quite worrying bashing an engine like that, but these are so tightly put together with sealant, you have to give them a proper hit like that, otherwise they're just not coming out. I don't know what that is there, but a little spider web or something like that. Yeah, so anyway, that should be the crank out now anyway, so if I crack all these bearing caps off, rod caps sorry, I'll get the crank out and show you the state of that. Looks okay from here. Yeah, and then as soon as it cranks out, that girdle can go back on. I just tighten those down just enough it will hold the engine up so I can put this mount back in here, because I don't feel happy with it being on 2 mounts. 3 mounts alone is sketchy just because of the weight of the engine. I don't know what I've done with my 4th arm here. So yeah, I've got 3 mounts on, I feel a bit better about it. It will be light without the crank and pistons in it anyway, so 3 will be more than enough to hold it up at the minute. So yeah, let's get these off then. That's the bearing caps loose at least anyway. Now it's just a case of getting these out. I wonder if this can't do any harm surely. Okay, so I've got the caps off and I've put them just up here out of the way in order so I know what caps for what piston. And just a gentle tap on the top with this rubber mallet here. That seemed to do the trick, so yeah. So now, I might need that in a minute actually. We'll try and lift the crank out. There she goes. There's still a couple bearings on there obviously from underneath. Yeah. Okay, so the girdle's out, crank's out as well as you just seen. Now all I've got left is to pop the pistons out, and that should be everything out. That should be the block bare, oil pump and everything else is out as you just seen. Crank's down there, I'm going to sort that out in a minute. I'm going to put that girdle back on so I can put this third mount on here just so it's sturdier. Don't mind the oil pump's down there, I'm going to put that away safely, maybe wrap it up. Yeah, so I bagged everything up still, everything's still in bags, all on there. Yeah, so don't lose anything. All my bearing caps are there, it goes from 1 to 4 up there. All the bearings are the same there for them as well, so I haven't lost any of them. So yeah. What I'm going to do is pop the pistons out like I just said, and then I can put the bearing caps on, pardon me, along with the bearings, and then I know nothing's lost, everything's there, and I know where everything is then. Everything's nice and neat, so let's just... Yeah, see these are a bit seized. Take this Okay, so pistons are out. I have just took the girdle back on. I didn't record that. Obviously, you've watched me take it off. These are just, I literally just gunned them on, just nipped them up, purely just so I can get that other mount on. So now I feel a bit better with it having 3 mounts on. So now we're down to a bare block anyway. The pistons are all down here. I'm going to sort these out in a minute, along with the oil pump, and wipe all that spillage up as well, all the oil and whatever's in the bores. I'll give the bores a wipe out in a minute as well. As you see, they're pretty dirty down there, if you can see them at the minute. But yeah, so I'm going to tidy up, make sure the crank's all good, take what bearings are left on that, put them in the right pistons, as I haven't moved them so I know where they're going. So yeah, let's go on with that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Hopefully you've learned something here. I've enjoyed stripping the engine. Definitely going to enjoy rebuilding it with forged internals and everything, like I was saying. Next video is going to be actually stripping the head itself, taking all the valves and the springs and everything out, and the valve seats as well. And then video after that is going to be all depending on what comes first. One's going to be cleaning the engine, stripping and cleaning, sandblasting it, and that obviously the head as well after that, or before. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment and like as well.